Hello there, welcome back to episode 2 of the podcast that has no name. Maybe we'll call it General Chat. Maybe we'll call it something else. I'm here with Cham once again for episode 2. Yes, we made a second one because the first one actually did okay and you guys enjoyed it. So I think we're going to bring this back. We're doing it weekly at the minute. Maybe it'll be fortnightly. I don't know. Let me know feedback in the comments if you like this kind of stuff. But Cham, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I didn't get roasted on YouTube or Twitter, so I'd say that's a positive start to the podcast era. But no, doing well. Yeah, not really much to report. Just counting the days down now towards Dragonflight. How about yourself? You're good?
Yeah, I mean we got the pre-patch phase 2 next week on Wednesday in the UK. Obviously Tuesday on the NA. So I think it's going to be a big week. It's kind of like the last few days of not having a dragon running around in dungeons with you, which will be an interesting experience.
All of the dragons.
All of the dragons are going to be everywhere, and with their fun names.
Except for the tank role. There'll be one non-dragon in the dungeon.
Yeah, I think I guess it's a good kind of segue into the first bit, because we're going to talk about Legacies Volume 3. Which was kind of the origin of the Dracthyr, I guess, in a sense, and kind of like what happened there. I would imagine this cutscene is probably going to make its way into game at some point, because it seems pretty important in regards to that. I thought it was really good. I think the best one was probably number 2, sorry, because that was, I mean, there's been 3, that's the total of them. I think number 2 was probably the best. However, as you mentioned with the tank thing, if you watch the video back, they definitely seem a bit tanky, you know?
Yeah, I can see almost why, from a design point of view, that they didn't want to put another tank in. I think every class they've ever brought in outside the original ones have always had a tank spec, so I think it's just kind of breaking that up. Whether we get one in the future, I don't know. Seems like a good candidate for one. However, I'd be very surprised. They seem very comfortable with this 2 spec situation now as well. You know, Demon Hunters have only got 2 specs as well, so
yeah.
I kind of almost see that as the new norm going forward.
I think a natural progression really is not so much adding a tank spec, but just adding other classes to them.
Yes.
That's really going to be kind of the big step there. I think it was interesting, actually. I was thinking about this, because I was literally doing a Dracthyr run just for this stream, just for this recording, and I was like, oh, how, you know, because the starting zone for the Dracthyr is very much designed around the Evoker. So I'm just like, how are the other classes going to work? I guess they'll have to find like another race to buddy up with and be like, all right, you know, and maybe the scenario or whatever, the intro will be like training them to be a regular class or something like that. It could be interesting. It's definitely a story to be told there. And I think they'll be stupid not to do that. I'm going to do a video soon going over the idea of that and the fact that they recorded voice lines for it, which is very, very interesting. And obviously people will
Is it going to be is it going to be a MrGM NPC that teaches you how to be a hunter? Like, you hold your bow round this way.
Yeah, this is how you do really bad DPS. This is
how you do really bad DPS and only marksman and BM because we don't play survival.
Yeah, what's survival? I don't know survival. What's survival? Never heard of that one.
But it's an interesting thing actually if they open it up. How do we get to Dracthyr Death Knights?
I don't think that happens. Surely. That'd be cool. Imagine the eye glow. Dragon. That look great.
Syndra Ghost.
Yeah. Great. I think the next progression for Dracthyr really is just having them wear other gear. But I think that would be another step in regards to having new races, having new classes, right? You can't have a mage running around in the armor that they currently have, so...
No. Battle Mage.
Yeah, Battle Mage, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of Legacies Volume 3 then? That we kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Again, I think it's just adding flavour and context. The kind of backstory. I think it's added a certain few questions that are going to be answered throughout the progression of the story as we go through, especially with patches. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying, actually, are we the bad guys here? But yeah, it's something I think I need to watch a couple more times to kind of get a real true understanding of. But on the flip side, I don't think, you know, for a casual view, I think it's just a kind of, yeah, cool, this is a nice little tidbit, and we don't need to... It doesn't need to be that deep, guys. It doesn't need to be that deep.
It always has to be, though. There always has to be drama. I think I would love to see the behind-the-scenes of those animations, like how they make them, all that kind of stuff. How long it takes as well, because they're really interestingly made. And I'd love to see someone. I know Adam did it with the Shadowlands ones. He made a machinima out of the Uther one. I'd love to see someone do that with these ones. I definitely think it'd be a lot easier, just because the animation. Well, especially the first one. I mean, it was just them standing and talking, but it's definitely doable. I'd love to see someone like make a machinima out of these, because it'd be epic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of adds to the whole community thing as well. You know, as long as we don't get to that point where we work ourselves into a shoot brother, where you're getting you're retconning your own lore, and then when the real lore doesn't match up to it, then we start throwing toys out of the pram, because no one wins.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? People get upset with their theories not being correct, and they're like upset with the direction that Blizzard go in. That's always been the case with any fandom, really, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's just how it is. So switching up, next thing, anniversary this week till Dragonflight launch, right? The 27th, I think, the last till. So you get 18% from that. You get Korak's Revenge. You got the bosses. Nothing new, apart from an increased item level of 272, which I think is pretty good. Better than the pre-patch.
Not everywhere.
Well, not everywhere. Yeah.
They forgot to scale the vendor up outside AV. Or maybe they didn't. We don't know.
I don't know. It's weird, because 164, I think it would have been the original Shadowlands level, eye level from back last year. But yeah, it definitely seems like they have either forgotten or didn't plan on doing that. I think that would have been a great little catch-up thing to have those at 272, and I still think they should do that. I need to maybe do a tweet or something saying, please increase this, because it's essentially just pointless transmog right now.
Yeah, and it's not for every slot as well. There's only certain slots on there, so it's not like you can just go fully there and get fully equipped in 272. There's still going to be a place for the pre-patch stuff. So
yeah, I think I do like the anniversary event though. I think it's fun. I do like killing the bosses and stuff, and I think especially for fresh evokers, it's going to be really good gearing to go through those bosses every day. I think it's like a total of, you could do 4 of them. So Doomwalker's always up, Kazak's always up, Azura Ghost's always up, and then it's just one of the dragons around the world. And you could soar there on your Drakthir, and go get the gear. It'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great until you realise that you've got to kill another green dragon and spend 20 minutes asleep while the boss constantly resets.
Or Emerus with the annoying mushrooms and stuff. But I said I was playing a Drakthir a minute ago, and they're definitely a lot better than they were. When I leveled 1 to 70, they were just dying all the time. Now they have like a 75% armor buff, which feels really nice, and just generally feels really nice. And they've made some changes to Soar as well to make it way better. Especially in that starting zone, because beforehand there was a lot of stopgaps where you'd wait for Soar to refresh, and now they've kind of sorted that out. So that's all pretty smooth. But I guess with the anniversary, like, it's a good chance to level ults. Obviously 18%, pretty decent amount of XP and rep, of course. And that's going to be coinciding with the big change on Phase 2 next week, with the level changes that are happening, especially 50 to 60 being super quick. I think my fastest yesterday was an hour and a half, which is insane. You've been leveling a lot. I mean, how does that coincide with what's going on right now with the Winds of Wisdom and stuff?
Yeah, so at the minute, the kind of Shadowlands leg, it's quick with obviously the 50%, but it's not an hour and a half. My advice, if anyone who is leveling ults right now, is to take advantage of the Winds of Wisdom to get to 50 right now, and then get to 50, unlock threads, because we don't know if threads is going to be a fast route, whether you can just quickly go through there and blast through it.
I'll try it today.
And then just wait. Try today, live and stream. Although today might be yesterday.
So how was it? Chat, let me know. Leave a comment. Was it great?
But yeah, I think because at the minute you can obviously got the 50% war mode. I think it's currently 10 or 20%, basically for Alliance or Horde. Darkmoon Fair's also up, so that's 10% plus 18%. So you can fly right through the levels right now. I'm a little bit burnt out on leveling, I'm not going to lie, because I've just done it so many times. Yeah, I'm ready for that next stage more than anything else. I'm ready now to get everything ready for next week, start the pre-patch event, and then just start gearing all those ults up. Just get some 250s, just so then I can smash into Dragonflight and not be going in there at level 100. Yeah, because it's just going to be painful.
Yeah, they're increasing the eye levels as well on the leveling stuff. So I think at like level 50, I was getting like 140 gear, and the heirlooms have gone up as well, which are also really good. So, yeah, it's.
So are we having to buy another level of heirlooms?
No, heirlooms just naturally changed. They go all the way up to 59, I think, at the moment, anyway. So they'll just have a higher item level naturally, and then you can, if you really wanted to, you could just wear those and then replace them when you go to the Dragon Isles. But, yeah, we'll just see. But yeah, I guess like final stuff to do before, I guess, launch. You got KSM. Wochi's still pushing KSM with a bunch of people, which is really great with the dojo.
On the dojo. So Wochi, if you listen to this, pop a link in the comments. You know what to do. Let's get people who aren't into pushing KSM and really, really sweaty about this stuff, or they're new to it, they don't want the toxicity of pugging, or they're playing non-meta and they're worried. Dojo is a perfect place for that. They're really good. Also been getting people the slime kitty, which is obviously going away as well with launch. Also, a lot of people didn't realise that you could still get the heroic mount from the jailer.
Mm-hmm.
So
you just got to kill the jailer as well, right? You just literally kill the jailer.
Just jailer on heroic.
Easy peasy. Yeah. Then you can get the saddle. You can get the mount, the season 4 mount, but that's going to be on the vendor in season 1 of Dragonflight anyway, so it's not really that time restraint. I've been doing solo shuffle, but it's just been stressing me out because people keep leaving all the time, and it's really, really irritating because you don't get any rating for doing that. So yeah, I don't know. I've been like I have like little spouts of doing it, and then I just lose the will to do it. But yeah, solo shuffle. Are they leaving? Good fun.
Are they leaving because they're losing, or are they leaving because they know who you are?
I don't know why people leave it. It's really annoying. I think they get a penalty for it as well, of like 150 rating or something. But I don't know.
Boy, I'm on the team with Dandalorian. I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them, to be honest. They just see a crappy marksman hunter. They're like, nah, I'm out. So what else is going on? Talent show. There's a talent show. Sounds fun. Is it a talent show or a quiz? What is it?
So there's two, isn't it? There's one in SoCal that you have to be in Southern California to go to. That's a trivia show with Sean Copeland.
Right.
Seen Copeland? Sean Copeland died.
No, is that Edge's dad?
Yeah. On this day, he did see very clearly.
It's like a really deep cut. Wrestling reference, and like one person be like, "I got it."
You think you know him. But,
yeah, you do. Yeah.
And also, then there's the talent show. So applications are open now for both events. Talent show's got different events. There's like a leveling race. There's dragon flying.
Oh, the variety show. Yeah.
Last night. Yeah, the variety show. Yeah. And they want up to 300 people from the community to kind of go with streamers on their team.
Yeah, sounds fun. Yeah, because they did it before, didn't they? And it was Hazel, Bajira. Oh god.
Tally Essen.
Tally Essen and Evto were the hosts. Yeah.
Yeah, they hosted it.
And then they had celebrity contestants, which were Hazel, Bajira. I can't remember the rest. I want to say Aya was one of them.
Yeah.
And Nagura,
it's open to EU this time, isn't it? Because it was NA before. Now they've opened it up to EU and NA, which will be great. So, yeah, watch this space. Go and apply if you want to. If you want to take part.
I thought the last one was great. It was good vibes, positive vibes. I think like it's way less serious than MDI and AWC, like way more chill. And obviously, Talius and Everto is doing great at hosting because they're just naturals at that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out.
What I did find quite interesting, sorry, just to jump in there, obviously the whole thing with drops, they said there would be prizes for the contestants, but there'll also be stuff for the viewers as well. So maybe there's going to be another round of drops or something like that tied in with it. Maybe cool. That's what some of the exclusivity stuff coming in may be tied to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the event's on the 10th and 11th of December.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Sounds fun though. Sounds good. What else? Oh, Beta. Yeah, Beta had some stuff going on, didn't it, this week? Work orders changed. Work orders changed slightly, I think, for the better. Because there was a case where you could request an upgrade for like your gear for the recrafting, and you could send it off, and it actually could come back at a lower item level. So they've flicked that across now just to be personal and guild orders for recrafting, which is. So I'm a bit worried about the profession system, honestly. I feel like it might be DOA. Like after I feel like it's way more effort to do crafting than it is to just run a Mythic Plus or a raid.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Once that shine's kind of gone off it, it's more for me. Obviously, this is the first pass at it, and then it will kind of improve over time. They need to make it worthwhile to be able to do. I mean, I've always kind of had this opinion that a bit like the PvP system works. The PvP system, if you're running PvP, your item level scaled up. I think that should be the same with all three verticals: PvP, M plus, and raids. If you're in an M plus gear, you're wearing Mythic plus gear. If you then go in the raid, it just drops down 10 item levels to stop you. If you're not into Mythic plus, stop you getting those awkward questions of, oh yeah, but you've not run Mythic plus this week to get your weekly vault. And I think actually professions then could have a value sitting outside of that. They could be the universal jack of all trades that it doesn't scale up or down. So then that's where they could get the value coming across. So yeah, I'm sure people would be like, yeah, but it's more gear to manage and stuff.
That was going to be my argument, yeah. Just like 10 different item sets in your bag and stuff. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think a lot of the upgrade items for professions are from the dungeons, so maybe we'll see that as a kind of I guess bad luck protection. Professions might become more so than anything else. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Especially in the race to world first and stuff. I'd be curious to see how much crafting gear does really affect their gearing paths. Because gearing and, well, professions are coming in pre-Season 1, so I presume they're probably going to be absolutely smashing that. And the interesting thing now with the work order change, where you don't have to supply the where you don't have to give the crafter any... no, you don't have to give... What am I thinking? So you don't have to provide anything. So as a crafter, you don't have to bring anything to the table. Yes. You can literally stand at the crafting table all day and level up your profession without ever leaving that point. Which I think is very interesting, and make a ton of gold.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, if someone puts a work order in and says, actually, here's your basic reagents, because as a customer you have to provide those, but you can fill in the kind of the other bits.
No, they changed it.
You can then track that. They changed it. I thought it was only basic ones.
No, you have to provide everything.
Everything.
Everything. Okay. The crafter literally does not have to provide any reagents at all.
Does that make it? Yeah. So. I suppose that opens up things then. So if you don't want to bother with crafting, you just go double gatherer.
Yep.
And then if you are crafting, you just go double. Yeah.
It's good for transport collectors as well, I guess, in a sense. If you want to get like a sword from blacksmithing that you can't make because you're not a blacksmither, you can get it made for you, which is nice. BOPs. Absolutely. But yeah, I've mentioned this before. I think like the big thing is going to be like retroactively adding work orders to older professions. There's definitely some transmog there that people would want that they don't want to go and grind, Wrath Lich King blacksmithing for. So
I think it just comes in time, though, doesn't it? I think we'd all be grumbling if this came in at the expense of something else. So that's something I see more of a kind of a 0.5 patch down the line that this is now going to be grandfathered in.
Yeah, I accidentally fat fingered the keyboard and got rid of the Dragonflight Renown changes on our notes, so I'm going to try and remember this. Oh wait, I've got it. I got it back. So level 10 Renown, right? So essentially it's kind of like the Miss of Pandaria thing where you get Exalted, increases it on your ults, although everything is essentially account-wide on the Renown thing apart from like items specifically. A lot of the unlocks and things are account-wide, so that's not really a problem. One thing I theorized, or one thing I would love to frickin' see, which is not a thing, I think if you get to 25 or 30, whatever the max is on one character, just unlock it on the rest. Just instantly have that when you go onto any other character. It's just all done, because there's no point in having to do it more than once. And that should be the case for other reps as well. You get to Exalted, put it on your other characters.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, though, that would be something that comes, say, in a 0.1 patch. That then becomes at 0.1, then
yeah.
Maybe not from day one.
There is basically no advantage to grinding it twice, essentially. The gear that you get from it is it's not that great. It's transmog at best. And
it's not about the gear, Dan. It's about the friends we made along the way.
It's true. I think Nerissa at Wowhead is working tirelessly to get the guides up to grinding the renowns, because some of them are really super complicated. I have no idea. Like so I was trying to do a video on this Lizzie mount for the centaurs, and you had to get to renown 9, and I was like, well, how the hell do I do that? There's different things for each one. Like there's a lot of daily quests for the centaurs. For the dragon scale people, it's a lot like archaeology, where you're going to be running around picking up items and handing those in. Not sure about the Valdrakken ones. It's a lot of side quests. I think, like, generally speaking, the kind of first port of call is just do every quest in the Dragon Isles and go from there.
I think I saw on Twitter, it was Narissa said that there's actually one that you can't progress right now.
Yes, yeah. There's a new Forborg rep, similar to the Winter Spring one. Not really sure. You start off as hated, and there's going to be some shenanigans there. Maybe a new trinket or something. That'd be fun. Nice little homage to Vanilla WoW. But yeah, not sure on that. I noticed that as well. But yeah, I didn't look into getting it any further. But you definitely get the reputation in regards to, like, you can start kind of looking at it. But yeah, I think it's a good time for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how, like, humans adapt with Renown, because they obviously have the increased reputation from that, and then obviously the Darkmoon Fair is going to give you the extra rep, I think, from the carousel and stuff when that rolls around. Does it give you rep, or is it just XP?
10% rep and XP. But I actually thought for a second then you were talking about the community, because I was going to say that the humans that play the game will absolutely hate it.
It's very true. It's very true. But no, I think I think it's fun. Like, I think the Renown system should be okay. It's all optional, which is great. And that's kind of the big thing. I'm going to make a video soon. I did talk about this on stream, going over what's account-wide in Dragonflight. I think that's a big question that people are curious about. And there's a lot. Spoilers. A lot is account-wide, including a lot of Renown stuff. But
which is positive, right? It's what we've been asking for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing worse than doing stuff twice, especially when it sucks. Is the motto of that. But
looking at you more, intro.
Exactly. So I think Renown should be fine. I don't see any major complaints about it, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. I guess kind of staying with the game stuff, and then we'll kind of go into outside of game stuff. Creation Catalyst, you seem to know about this. I've not been keeping up with the Creation Catalyst. I assume it's similar to Shadowlands?
Yeah, kind of exactly similar in the gear process, so that you get non-tier, and then you can convert it to tier, bad luck protection. Comes in 6 weeks after Mythic opens, which obviously Mythic, Normal, and Heroic are all opening at the same time this time round, which will be interesting as well. And then at that 6 weeks, you'll get a quest. Okay, that quest is across all of your characters. You progress that quest by doing natural things that you'll get the gear for to convert anyway, so Mythic Plus, PvP, raiding, etc. And then your account, then once you do that quest, gets a charge. Okay, so I've got one charge then on my account. Once that charge is there, I can use that on any of my characters, but each character has an individual one. So if I use that on my main, use that one charge up, I've still got one charge on an ult somewhere. So kind of very similar to how it works now, where with the Creation Catalyst, you've got all these charges. They're individual, but this time we've got to do something to kind of earn it, rather than it just being there and spending currency.
Yeah, I think I do like the idea of having to do something for it. Hopefully it's nothing too complicated. But I also like the idea of not having to do anything, where you just rock up like a couple weeks later and it's like, oh, cool, I can make all this tier gear now. So we'll have to see how the idea of that. I think Blizzard, it was funny actually, because they originally said they weren't going to do what they did last time with the gap, and then they just went and did it. Like, okay. Like, great, thanks guys, really appreciate that.
But then you say you didn't have to do anything, you still had to go and grind Cosmic Flux.
That's true, there was a currency, but is there a currency? Or that is the currency, I guess, right?
The currency is the quest.
Okay, interesting. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Find out in 6 weeks. What else we got? CurseForge and WoW up. So I'm a big CurseForge supporter. I like CurseForge. Yep. They pay their add-on devs, which I think is obviously the greatest part of it. I've, again, not been keeping up on the WoW up stuff. What's the TLDR on this?
So WoW up, initially they were naughty. They were scraping add-ons from CurseForge, and then obviously the add-on devs were not getting any kickback on that. But they seem to have come to an agreement now with Overwolf that they can download Curse hosted add-ons But what they're doing is as part of the agreement, there's a new WoW Up client that you need, and that WoW Up client then has ads on it, and those ads go back to Overwolf to pay the add-on developers that you're downloading from.
Okay.
So that kickback's going back now through to them and supporting it. Again, completely with you. I was for all of the doomsayers and everything that was going on social media around Overwolf. Ultimately, I wanted to kind of give back what little I could to add-on devs, right? And I can't patron to them all. So this change for me, I like WoW Up from its weight point of view, and also it does stuff outside of it, so Wago, and also you can get your Elf UI updates and that through it. Obviously, I've got 4 billion add-ons, as everyone keeps reminding me since the podcast last week that I've got too many add-ons.
40, right?
I don't. That may have gone up a few.
When you log
I'm
into
not
a
raiding at
character,
the
it's
minute.
supposed to be a mess.
No. Cheat codes are just copy your WTF contents into another character and just paste
Rename it.
there. Yeah, easy. But yeah, so I think that benefits everyone. You know, the people who are using WoW Up and have used WoW Up and probably didn't even know about the whole thing. Just be aware they have to download a new client. This is part of this agreement. It's not the old WoW Up client.
Makes sense. I think that's good. I think it's a good change. Anything that supports add-on dev in general is a pretty thankless job, and they work pretty hard on some of the stuff they do, and people obviously use them every single day and benefit from them. So, yeah, anything to help out them.
If we all make our add-on devs starve, then all our UIs will look like yours, and that, my friend, would kill the game.
It's true. Nobody uses a base UI. Only the best hunters in the game. So that's kind of it for in-game stuff this week. Bit of a light week. Obviously, next week is going to be Drag the Evokers and the pre-patch event and stuff. Pretty big week in regards to actually doing stuff in the game, which is nice. I definitely think the pre-patch phase 1 was a little bit too long for my liking. Not really too much to do. It was nice to have that, post-season stuff where you can still get KSM, you can still get whatever. But obviously for most people that's probably already been achieved. But yeah, kind of like the Dragonflight kind of really soft launches next week in a sense with the Evokers and all that kind of stuff. So be curious to see what happens there. With that launch though, we do have a stream that was announced yesterday on the 15th with some of the game developers of WoW. Includes a new cinematic, which is going to be the Take to the Sky cinematic, which was on the beta client, obviously not available to watch, as you'd imagine, which is good. That would be a bit of a crap thing, but they had a new thumbnail or a new picture of Alexstrasza, which looked absolutely incredible. The render of that was unreal, so this cutscene or cinematic no doubt will be pretty unbelievable as usual. So looking forward to that. I think Terran's on there as well. Love Terran, he's great. So yeah, do you think they're going to have any surprises with this?
Hopefully. I think this is almost like the bridge between the past into the new. Really, I think that's what I'm hoping for. Is just that little bit extra of just kind of fleshing that story out and not just being, why am I getting on the wrong boat? That's because that's what's going to happen.
Do you think they're going to get like a Lundra? Is it a Lundra Blaze? Put the title in the bin. Is that who it was?
Yeah.
They're going to put Shadowlands in the bin.
Or even a more modern reference is we'll just retire it. We'll just retire it.
Nikki Cross trying to put it in a bin. Did you see that?
Nikki Cross bin the title off. It's I bet this is going to turn to a wrestling.
She tried. She missed the bin.
Close enough.
It's on the floor. It's gone. And then they retired it.
That wasn't very Uzi.
Not Uzi. No, not very Uzi.
Not Uzi.
Yeah, I think that maybe we'll get some hopefully something secret, something new, something teased.
Yeah.
With this, it seems cool though. Good communication. I like to see it. Kind of like a big celebration of pre-patch launching. Can't wait to watch it and be like, yeah, pre-patch, and then wait an extra day because we're in the EU.
Wait for all the reaction cinematics.
Yeah, wait for NA to completely break it. Oh yeah, reactions. Yeah, can't wait for that. Got to get my reaction face ready.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Speaking of pre-launches, we forgot to mention about your wonderful stream with Jari this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. Me and Sophia, we smashed it up. It was actually last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. So I got another one next week on Wednesday. Actually, there's a Blizzard sponsored stream in regards to the castle event that I'm involved in. That'll be on the 29th. That's actually in a physical castle in the UK somewhere, which is wild. But yeah, no, it's been fun. She is the whole point. The whole dynamic was supposed to be like she's a noob and I'm a pro, but like obviously not. Like she's rated mythic and things, and I've definitely not done that. And she's out of the game. She's not played it for a bit, but she still knows exactly what's going on. So yeah, it was good dynamic. I thought it went way better than I thought it would, to be honest. And then we've got the Evoker starting zone next week, which is going to be fun because she's never played any of that. I don't even think she's jumped into beta, so be interesting to see. I've obviously done the Evoker starting zone several times. I was doing it, let's mention it for the 4th time. Just doing it, I put the music on. The music is unreal. Music and dialogue. I hadn't done it with any of that, and it was glorious. So I'm definitely going to play with the music on.
A bit more immersive.
It's so good. So great. And the cutscenes. I've not seen any of the cutscenes before either, so I was watching those. And
I did think it was. I did think the dynamic between you two was really good as well. My favourite part, obviously, was when you got dubbed when you buy your Pro from Wish. Yeah, so
the Poundland Pro.
Poundland Pro. We actually now have a command in the channel. Wish Pro.
Nice. I mean, she's great. She's from the south of England as well, so you obviously just get that, great dynamic of great people, as you know.
So you just realise how expensive land is. And...
Yeah, we just talk about really expensive house prices and things like that. Watch this space. More fun collaborations with Sophia and Blizzard coming up real soon. It's good fun. So that kind of covers all our bases for now on actual topics. So we did ask about questions. So I did it on my community page. Again, people watching the video, comment down below for a question for us to cover next week. Be very much appreciated. But we did have a few questions. Some of them just don't make any sense. One saying, is Torghast being scaled to 70? The answer to that is no. But the cool thing, I guess the good thing, is it's not being scaled to 70, but you can still go back at 70 and get all of the achievements and the mounts and all that kind of stuff. So none of that is going away, which is nice. So if you want to go and get revenge on Torghast at level 70, you can go and do that.
Evokers have got their own powers as well.
Evokers do have their own powers in Torghast. That is also true, which is cool. Having trouble flying in the beta. So you get the flying quest like 30 minutes in. Which is wonderful, and it's just a little tutorial on how to fly fly through some rings and stuff, and then you get dragon riding. So yeah, 30 minutes in. Don't know why they would have trouble getting it, because it's literally the storyline, but who knows.
I mean, if it's a issue with actually being able to fly and from a movement etc point of view, obviously the beta has had a few issues around it. So with performance, I know you get through the DC loop of doom at times dragon flying. So if that's the case, wait till it hits live. Just wait till it hits live, and just hopefully some of those performance, if that is affecting it.
What else we got? Will we have a gold sync with the new profession? I think the gold sync with the profession is going to be more so just buying gear, I guess, through the work order system. I don't think there's any particular big gold syncs in Dragonflight from the looks of things.
I don't think a gold sync. The big gold sync is in taking gold out of the player base. I think really you're just going to be shifting it around, and the gold sync as a consumer will be placing work orders.
Yeah, so nothing like a big mount or anything like that. Last one is, what's a class or race that they need to add to the game as playable? I would say like a natural progression would be like Void Elf and Nightborn Demon Hunters would be really cool to see. I would like to see that. I think it's an easy win for Blizzard as well, for sure.
If you give me Void Elf Demon Hunters, I'd be back on the Alliance. I'd be like, here, tap my credit card, Blizzard.
Yeah, sick.
In a heartbeat.
Imagine like the combination of like their racial and stuff going off while being a Demon Hunter. It look pretty cool. I think. I mean, there's some race class combos that don't make any sense, and I don't think they should do. But I think for the most part, a lot of them do work. Night Elf Paladins and things like that would be kind of fun.
Well, they said they're trying to open on someone's wonderful interview. They're trying to open everything up to everyone anyway, aren't they? So
That's the plan.
um,
That's what they
that
want
is
to do.
the plan.
I'd like to see
I
that.
think I think for me, maybe a little bit unpopular. I don't really want to see too many new classes. We have an issue at the minute with balancing and trying to balance everything, and then you know something happens, someone gets a nerf, and then the community is very well receiving and like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I understand. I get it. No, absolutely not. No, they're up in arms. And then adding another class into that mix that would have you know, two specs minimum is kind of just mudding those waters out even more. And for me, I'd just like to see a few more races. I think the allied races stuff was a good win. Stuff like Tuskar allied race. I think it'd be quite cool. You imagine being a Tusker Death Knight? I think that'd be quite good.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
And it makes sense from Northrend, so
yeah, relatively easy win for them as well to have that, because all the a lot of the art assets are done, especially with the new model, supporting a lot more gear than previous models. So interesting. Somewhere out there, Taliesin is getting very excited. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility for sure. Vikal as well would be an easy one for them to do. Things like that. Yeah, more races the better. To be honest, I like the idea of being able to play whatever you want to play, which is nice. Yeah, that's kind of all the questions we got. I guess the big question of the podcast this week is, you've written, was Shadowlands more full?
I did there.
Yeah, it's a wow. God, it took me a minute to realize what you did there. Amazing. Oh, it's so clever.
I even put the M and then a hyphen. Awful. Just in case you mispronounce it.
Yeah, no, I thought you might have done like a spelling mistake or something, but I guess we are literally at the very end of Shadowlands now. Was it awful, I guess, is the big question. For me, it had its highlights. I didn't mind Seraph Mortis that much. I think Seraph Mortis was a good step in the right direction, but it still had its issues. It still had things that plagued it in regards to the huge timers on the unlocks and things like that. That was just classic Blizzard, all of that. And I remember there was like a point in the alpha, the PTR cycle, where it made it like instant or something, and they got rid of the timers and people celebrated it, and then that wasn't the case. There was literally, the tweet was like, blew up. Everyone was like, oh my god, this is so good, and then they were like, oh no, we're not actually doing that. That was a bug. But yeah, I didn't like Sanctum of Domination. I thought Castle Nathria was one of the best raids they've done in a very, very long time. That was a lot of fun, on so many levels. Theming, bosses, the look of the loot, everything like that was great. Solid raid. And honestly, 9.0 wasn't even that bad. Like, the Covenant stuff was all new and shiny and exciting. Going to the Shadowlands, new, shiny, exciting. But the problem was, I mean, obviously, not always Blizzard's fault. Pandemic kind of ruined their release schedule, kind of ruined their plans. They had to work from home. And the fact we didn't get a new zone, then we ended up with Korthia, which was just a freaking nothing burger. Just more of the more, which was not fun. And then Seraph Mortis was a nice kind of ray of sunshine in regards to that. But for me, I never liked the theming of the Shadowlands anyway. I never liked the whole idea of going to the realm of death and all the boring, characters that were there. To be honest, I like a good grounded expansion. For all of the troubles that BFA had, it had a really solid launch with 8.0. I thought that was wonderful. Going to Colteros and stuff, especially for the Alliance, is just a better experience as an expansion. And I've said it before, if Shadowlands had all of the features but was a dragon expansion, I think people would have enjoyed it more. Even so, like, if you had to pick a dragonfly and do all that kind of stuff and it was in the Dragon Isles, I think people would enjoy it, even if it was exact same with the same features.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. For me, I think we'll look back in time, hopefully. I'm puffing on that hopium here. And we'll see Shadowlands as a transitional expansion, transitioning away from the methods and the systems that we were used to ever since. You can go all the way back to MOP with the cloak and stuff, but I'm moving away from those kind of system expansions into more of a holistic, long-term view, as it's starting to look like the Dragonfly. This may come to pass, and 10.1, it's introducing a new borrowed power system. we don't know, but I think we'll look back at Shadowlands as a transitional expansion. I don't think it was awful. I think it was a middle of the road expansion. I think Natharia was great. The theming was good. The flow was good. Had some really good boss encounters. Sanctum had some really good boss encounters, but suffered from the theming. I think by that point we'd all been burnt out and Torghast and the more. And then, I think for me, I think it was a good expansion from a community point of view more than the game. And ultimately, this game is at its best when you're enjoying the people you're playing with. And that is the key thing for me, is kind of finding a home. And you're right, Shadowlands suffered the same as Cataclysm and WoD did. There was content droughts. There was a long time. You look back at Cataclysm, everyone gives Cataclysm a really bad rap. But what they really mean is, most part, that they didn't like playing Dragon Soul for a year. That's what they tend to remember. They don't remember like Firelands and all of the good stuff that kind of came with Cataclysm. And same with WoD. WoD raids are absolute bangers, but they always, people go towards oh yeah, but I was stuck in my garrison. And also, that's my argument for player housing. Not player housing, great, but then you're going to tell me exactly the same problems as you had with garrisons that everyone's gone from the world. Tangent. But yeah, in WoD there was content drought, and I think the content drought is the biggest problem that Shadowlands kind of had, but not to Blizzard's kind of fault here with the world and the situation. The Shadowlands for me, when I look back at it now, solid middle of the road expansion.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting in a couple of years looking back on Shadowlands. Hopefully Dragonflight isn't a complete shitter. It's looking promising for sure. And I think it does show that Blizzard is learning from the mistakes of Shadowlands and previous expansions and things like that. So hopefully we're not going to look back on this podcast in a year and be like, well, we were wrong. Shadowlands actually was all right. Shadowlands makes BFA look good, and then, that's not good.
That's saying something.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think for me as well, that you've got to... I think the community needs to take a breath. My biggest concern with Dragonflight is not the content and stuff like that. It's actually everyone's saying, right, we don't want borrowed power systems. We don't want time gating. We don't want things locked to one character. And then I can almost predict that in 3 months' time, we're going to have people saying there's nothing to do. Right, and they're complaining there's nothing to do. So we can have all this stuff, all this nice, shiny, fancy stuff. But as long as we realise that actually that time gating gave us things to do. Yes, it's artificial, but it was still reason to log in.
True. Very, very true. I think with that, I think I'm going to close it out for another beautiful episode of the unnamed podcast, maybe general chat, maybe whatever. I don't know. We'll think of a name. Chat, comments, comment below, name for the podcast. Comment below if you like this. If you like the good casual chat with me and Sham. If you want to see more of this, obviously let us know, and obviously leave questions for next week or the week after, whenever we decide to do this again. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been MrGM. Obviously, you know where I am. Cham, you're over on Twitter. I'll leave your Twitter down below. Yeah, I'm verified on Twitter.
Verified us?
Verified. Wow, I can't believe it.
Wow.
What an achievement.
It's funny. Wow. Funny how that happened.
Thanks, Elon.
Here's my $8. Cheers, Elon. It's
all right.
all right. No one can follow me on Twitter anymore. It's dead, apparently.
Yeah, you've been buried. No more algorithms for you. I'm top of the block. A#1. King of the hill. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you next week, hopefully, with more podcast action. And I'll see you next time.
See you down the road.